Hey guys, William here with Patriot Containers. My last video was about are these videos working to help uh, buyers? Are they helping the other bad companies change? And I think yes. I know it's helping buyers because I'm actually starting to get calls now of people that are randomly finding my videos, and uh, and that's a good thing. I'm not a marketing guy. I just hope over time that I can make so many videos of certain categories of things to talk about and tell the truth about it, and people will see genuine help, and then um, avoid the bad companies, be aware, protect yourself, and if you want to call me and place an order, you can. That's all. Anyways, here's a bad review, and I can't tell you with what company it is, but I'm going to read it. It's actually long, so I haven't read the whole review, so I'm going to read it with you. Um, so let's get through this. It says I ordered a 40-foot high cube container to be delivered in Tennessee. I'm in California. I purchased and paid for it 2 months before I requested delivery. That's a long time. I took a flight to be there for 2 weeks in a rain. Gosh, I already know where this is going. This guy ordered 2 months in advance to have a container to be delivered. He flew to another state to be there for delivery, and we're probably going to read that it never arrived. I took a flight to be there for 2 weeks and arranged to have it delivered the first week I would be there. I needed it to lock up equipment I would be using on my property. When they didn't contact me, I called them. A lot of these companies, they're the best communicators when it comes to taking your order. But then after your order, it's total crickets, like you never even placed an order. That's another bad sign that there's so many bad signs about these bad companies that I could talk about, and sometimes I have to remember certain things. A lot of these companies are really good at communication. They'll call the shit out of you to take your order, but after that, gone. Like you weren't even a customer. They acted like I had just bought it and wanted to arrange delivery in a 2 week period. So this person sounds like a good communicator. He was very specific with what he needed. The company didn't listen. And now he's going, hey, I'm here. And they haven't even scheduled. 2 months. I got to figure out where I left off. They acted like I had just bought it and wanted to arrange delivery in 2 week period. I argued no. It was supposed to be on your schedule and to be delivered this week. They didn't. After more calls, because they never called me back, they said Friday. The day before, I had to leave. Meanwhile, I was having to load and unload saws, weed eaters, pop-up canopies in my rental car, and taking some of it into my hotel room. Sorry, my eyes. I'm 47. My eyes aren't that good sometimes. Friday came around, and by 3 p.m., no show, no call. The dispatcher made some calls to see what was going on. I still had to call back to find out. See, they're not communicating. They just don't care. They don't give a shit. It's just, this is something about me I always put myself in customers' positions because I would hate for this to happen to me. That's why I despise these crappy companies that have no clue of what they're doing and they don't even care. This guy took a flight to another state and he was there for a specific time and he wanted the container to be delivered. They didn't do anything and they didn't even care. And that to me is disgusting. I still had to call back to find out. By this time, it was after 5 p.m. They said the delivery trailer had a hydraulic leak on the delivery before mine. I said, okay, how about Saturday? They said the depot where they kept the container isn't open on Saturday. That's actually true. Do I believe that this truck that was supposed to deliver this had a hydraulic leak? No, I really don't. I think it's a very common lie that companies use to get off the hook and blame it on the driver or blame it on mechanical failure. That happened. I have a customer that no, I have drivers that once a year they might have a hydraulic leak. But in this industry, these companies use these type of escape routes to not be accountable, and then they say that kind of stuff. They said the depot was closed on Saturday. That is true. It's not most, it's pretty much all. Mom and pop depots might be open on Saturdays and Sundays, but the major depots that store the shipping line's inventory Monday through Friday, and it's like Union. If you show up at 12:01, you're waiting there till 1:01. They said the depot was closed on Saturday. I said, okay, how about someone get it outside the yard, then go pick it up Saturday to the delivery? She said she'd try. We'll try. You're leading the customer on, and you're just pissing them off because you're not going to try. No word, no phone call back, and now since after 5, no one would answer. That's another thing with these companies. They have offices and they have employees and they have outside sales reps, and they do a business from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then after that, nobody's available. I don't offer that service. You can call me 7 days a week. On Sundays, I do not care when you call me. I'm always available. I'm always available to sell you something, and I'm always available if you need any information, especially if there's a problem with your property. I do want to know about it. Let's say it's raining. Let's say you're leaving and you need to reschedule. I need to know about that. Call me. I'm a very good communicator. These shitty companies, they don't know how to communicate. That's why they do everything through email. Because they don't want to talk on the phone. They want to transfer you to warranty departments, leak departments, customer service. It's just, how do we get rid of this customer that we screwed up, but we don't want to handle it and we want to run away from it? Most of these business owners, they do not have their hands dabbling in their own business. That's why they run a shit show. She said she tried, no word, no phone call back, and now since after 5, no one would answer. I explained all this to my salesman. He said that it was unacceptable and that he'd do something to make it right. So in the end, the container arrived 2 weeks later. I had to rely on a neighbor I barely know to meet the delivery driver to have it placed, which took several hours due to trees. Getting stuck high-centered on the road, then he had to move all my things that I left covered with a tarp on my property into the container and lock it. After all this, I got busy with work, then remembered the sales guy said he'd do something to make it right. That's over-promising. After emailing him, he was less sympathetic in his reply, saying these things happen. They happen with these companies because they can't run a legitimate business that cares. They don't care. This customer is a commission and he's a profit only. After emailing was less sympathetic in his reply, saying these things happen. Can't help about breakdowns. Claims he tried his best to help. BS. Now that it was finally delivered and they had my money months ago, they washed their hands knowing I had no recourse unless I tried to sue them. I've read some of these complaints, people, where the company screws up and they keep screwing up and they keep screwing up and they keep screwing up. And once the customer needs help from the company that sold it to them, they will not do anything. They're not there. They're not there. They're not there. You guys as customers have to threaten these guys with legal action in order to get your money back. It's horrible. I tried to sue them. I had no recourse unless I tried to sue them, which they know is not worth it. I can't speak for the quality of the container, condition of the container, because I haven't even seen it yet, and won't see it for about for a year until I visit my retirement property. The price was right on the container, but I never do business with this company again, and I highly recommend caution if you choose to buy from them. I could understand the breakdown, but the lack of communication and the disorganization of their delivery logistics team is over the top. They act like they could care less about the customer and their experience dealing with them. Oh, I almost forgot. The driver that finally delivered it was great and did care what happened, but he's not employed by the company. He's a subcontract driver. He was excellent with the communication and most of these drivers, they work for themselves and they have tilt up and down trailers. They don't work for these companies. And they're great people. But when these companies take forever to deliver and they deliver rusty old junk with holes in it, who's there to deliver it? It's the driver. But the company is the one that scheduled it. The company is the one that purchased that product. The poor driver, it's not his fault. This guy hasn't seen his container. He says he's not going to see it for a year. I hope it's acceptable. There's a chance that he could go to his property in a year and it's a horrible container, and hopefully there's no holes in it. He was excellent with communication and very pleasant to talk with over the phone. I'd hate to think what the experience would have been like. He had been an employee. See what I said? He was only saving their grace. Here's what I'm saying, guys. This is a complaint. Read the negative reviews and you will see a pattern of smugness in response to the people that have received poor customer service, and this leading industry warranty is not spelled out. They send you a sealant pack, which is likely the extent of their warranty, maybe $20. And in the responses, the customer is never right. They always suggest the better alternative is to buy a new one chipper. That is bait and switch if I ever heard it. I can't wait to see their bullshit response to this. And the company hasn't responded. Like I've said in these videos, people, and that's the end of the complaint, by the way. When they're on the phone with one of these sales reps that's trying to make you a commission or make the company a sale, you guys as customers want to hear all this fluff. And they're going to tell it to you. And it's not with what you think it is. You're not getting lifetime warranties. If they deliver you a bad product, they shouldn't have delivered you the bad product in the first place. It was an accident. They purchased the bad product. So if they deliver you a container with holes, they're going to send you JB Weld or a patch kit. But the container could be the worst container in the world, and that patch or JB Weld will not be a permanent fix. It will fail. And I'm telling you again, in these complaints, these types of companies, they offer new and crappy. And they do not offer you the wide variety of used. When I buy used containers from the shipping lines, and they're all the same, damaged is the worst, as is the second worst, and then wind and watertight is the third worst. Where containers start to look better is cargo worthy and then IICL. Cargo worthy cannot have a hole, but they look better than wind and watertight, damaged and as is. IICL is the highest rating. These companies, new, used, one used, and it comes with a cheap price, and it comes with a bunch of lies and so they sold them a used container. So anyways, that's another review, guys, from one of these crappy companies out there ripping people off. For legal reasons, I can't tell you with what company that is. It's funny, I just made a video about how I'm seeing less and less complaints on these companies, and I look at one and right then it's there. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.